is the Next Gen worship team. We're coming to you tonight to worship with you a little bit. We believe that God is not a God that is bound by time or space. And so even though we're here now in this place and you're there now, wherever you are, we can come together and we can gather and we can worship together as one in this time. And so I just want to encourage you to stand if you would like and sing out to the Lord, and we're just going to have some fun. All right, let's go.
And so Bridge students, welcome back. It's just me today. Isn't that sad? No, not really. You love me. It's all right. It's cool. We're starting a new month. It's April. I can't wait to hear about all your April Fool's pranks, and I'm so glad that I wasn't there when you pulled those on mom and dad who've been stuck in the house with you for several weeks. So anyway, do tell us what you did though, because those are gonna be awesome. But it's April, so new month. So this month is all about being humble. It's kind of a new word. We're gonna spend a little bit of time talking about it. Our series this month is called Upside Down, how we can turn the world upside down, or how we can live differently than how other people are doing in the world. So that's really cool. So today we're going to talk about the memory verse. For this month, we're going to talk about some lessons that we can do, and then we'll do the so-and-so show. So, hey, give it up for our worship team. They were pretty cool, weren't they? That was awesome to see them. All right, so memory verse this month, you guys, is Philippians 2:3. Pull it out, grab your Bible, grab your phone. I know you guys all have YouVersion. Basically, it says, don't do anything only to get ahead. Don't do it because you're proud. Instead, be humble. Value others more than yourself. All right, so there are a couple of things in there that we want to look at. All right, so we want to talk about what proud means, what humble means, and what value means. And I could sit here and I could read that all to you guys straight out of like Webster's dictionary, and you'd be all bored and you'd turn it off and you'd go do something else. So I don't want to. What I want you guys to do is to find creative ways to teach me. I don't know what those words mean. Come on now. Teach me what the word proud, what the word humble, and what the word value means. If you do, if you can send it to us, if you can video what you're doing, if you can write down what you did, if you can draw a picture, any of those things, we have swag, you guys. We have prizes. I've got a hat. I've got these pop sockets, so-and-so show pop sockets, and I've got stickers from the so-and-so show. Really fun stuff. You just got to email us what your definition of proud, of humble, and of value is, all right? So I think it's pretty clear from this memory verse that we need to put others first and give up what we think we deserve in order to value others more than us. But how do we do that? So there's also another verse in Romans 12:10 that helps us understand how to put our memory verse into action. So it says, love from the center of who you are. Don't fake it, okay? Run for dear life from evil and hold on for dear life to good. Be good friends who deeply practice playing second fiddle. Or be a good friend by putting other people first, which I think is awesome. So I want to know, what ways can you do that in your house this week? What other ways can you put mom first, dad first, grandpa first, brothers and sisters first? What are ways that you can do that? Again, we're interested in seeing some feedback from you guys this week. I know you can do it. So prizes will be issued. We'll put your name on it. They'll be waiting for you when we get back. So right now, start practice being humble, being kind, valuing others, and not being proud, okay? So let's watch the so-and-so show and see what they have in store for us.
Thank you.
Yep. Hello, so-and-so friends.
Hey to you and all of our viewers.
From near
and far.
Welcome to the So-and-so Show.
I'm John.
And I'm Brandon.
And we have got a show for you today.
That we do. Why don't you tell them about it, John?
Oh, no, my friend, after you.
I insist.
No,
After you.
no, I insist after you. It's time to play a game we call After You!
And now for everyone's favorite game show, After You.
This is a game that requires humility, where you want to put the other person first. So, after you.
What am I supposed to do?
We're going to balance a cup of water on a book on our heads.
Okay.
Water balancing.
After you! Yes!
Holding your breath in a bucket of water.
After you!
Standing on a box while being hit with a palm frond.
After you. After you. After you. After you.
Nope.
Whoa. Whoa.
Keeping a grape in your mouth.
What does it have to do with humility?
What?
I said, what does this have to...
Oh,
After you!
thanks for playing After You.
What a great game.
Was it?
Yeah, I'm so much more humble than you. I put you first every
You
time.
did not put me first.
Sure I did.
No, you did not.
Sure I did. You were the first to drop the water, the first to choke on a grape. I put you first in the game, which makes me first in putting you first. Wait a minute. Maybe I should have put you first by telling you to put me first. But if you put me first, because I let you put me first, I'd still be first at putting you first, which means, oh! It was you who were putting me first all along. Well played, Brandon. Well played.
Uh-huh. It's Bible story time with Kellen.
What's up, guys?
Not too much, Kellen. Just being soups humble.
Oh, yeah? Well, then I've got a story for you.
After you, Kellen.
No. I'm humble.
Thank you. Our story picks up just after Jesus shared what he knew would be his last supper with his disciples. His heart was very heavy, so Jesus led his disciples outside to a place called Gethsemane, a kind of garden with olive trees. And Jesus asked Peter, John, and James to keep watch so he could pray. The disciples sat and waited, tired after a full meal, while Jesus went off by himself to pray to God. It was not a happy prayer. Something very bad was going to happen to Jesus that night, and he knew it. He was so sad, so anxious, and he prayed to his Father in heaven with all his might.
My Father, if it is possible, take this cup of suffering away from me. But let what you want be done, not what I want.
He prayed this way for what felt like an hour. But when he returned to his friends, he found them sound asleep.
Couldn't you keep watch with me for 1 hour? Watch and pray. Then you won't fall into sin when you are tempted. The spirit is willing, but the body is weak.
3 times, Jesus asked his disciples to stay awake while he prayed, and each time, his friends fell asleep. And then, it happened.
Are you still sleeping? Look, the hour has come. The Son of Man is about to be handed over to sinners. Get up, let us go. Here comes the one who is handing me over to them.
The disciples watched horrified as Judas, one of their friends, came up to Jesus, followed by a large crowd armed with clubs and swords.
Greetings, Rabbi.
Friend, do what you came to do.
Judas went to Jesus at once and kissed him. This was Judas' signal to the armed men that Jesus was the one they should arrest. When they saw the signal, they grabbed Jesus. That's when Peter leapt into action. Peter took out a sword and lifted it. He swung the sword at the servant of the high priest and cut off his right ear.
Yeah. Go, Peter.
Woo! Yes! And then Jesus' disciples fought off the armed men and brought Jesus safely back home. Thanks for the story, Kellen.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not exactly what happened.
Oh, don't ruin this happy ending for me, Kellen.
So Peter cut off the servant's ear. But then, before things got completely out of hand, Jesus spoke out to the angry crowd.
Put your sword back in its place. All who use the sword will die by the sword. Do you think I can't ask my Father for help? He would send an army of angels right away. But then, how would the scriptures come true? They say it must happen in this way.
Then Jesus touched the man's ear and healed him. But Jesus' disciples, his friends, ran, leaving Jesus alone. He was arrested and taken away. To be continued.
That's not happy at all.
I know, but that's what happened. In fact, things got even worse after that.
Worse?
I don't get why Jesus was arrested in the first place. He didn't do anything wrong.
True.
And if he could have called an army of angels to save the day, why didn't he do that?
Well, it's like what Jesus said when he was praying. He told God, "Let what you want be done, not what I want." Sure, he didn't deserve to be arrested. And sure, he could have easily done something miraculous to save himself. But Jesus knew that God had a bigger plan, so he put God first. And really, by putting God first, he was putting us first, because we were the reason God sent Jesus in the first place.
Oh, so it is a happy ending?
You'll have to wait until next time to find out.
Ah, rats.
Or, you could ask somebody how it ends, or read it in the Bible. It's a very famous story.
Great idea, Kellen. Thank you for the story.
Yeah, thanks.
No problemo. I'll see you guys later.
Later. Okay, so now we know where to turn to find out how to put others first.
Yeah, the After You game.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, right. Jesus.
Jesus put his friends first, even though they fell asleep when they should have been keeping watch.
His enemies, too. He actually healed one of the guys who came to arrest
He
him.
put everyone first, which brings me to a question.
Oh, reveal the question.
How do you put others first?
By letting them order before me at a restaurant.
Oh, yeah, or by watching what someone else wants to watch on TV.
See, that's why you sat through 14 hours of baking shows with me last week.
Yeah, and I still don't know what fondant is.
You know what? You win, friend. You win, my friend. You are definitely the most humble person
Not
alive.
a competition.
Well, you're number one.
No.
You're number one. You're number one. No. You're putting me first, so I'm number one. No, you're number two. You're number two.
Talk about it together.
You're number two.
How do you put others first? And we'll see you next time on the So-and-So Show. Can we go now?
Oh, after you.
Okay.
See? Now I'm number two. I'm number two. I'm number two. Wait. Ancient Romans used to use grapes as earplugs.
I can't hear you. I've got a grape in my ear.
I have a grape in my ear. I can't hear you. Do you know what they used to use grapes for as well? Like so. When they swim. Oh, you knocked one of my. I can hear. I can hear.
Goodness.
Hey, what's up? How'd you guys like the bridge so-and-so show? It's always good, I know. But, so here we go. We're going to do an activity. This would normally be your small group activity. And what it calls for is being creative with how you say true and false without using the words true or false. So that got me thinking, here at church, we would have you guys like lay out and spell words with your bodies, or I don't know what we would do, throw things at each other, or slap each other with fly swatters, or I don't know, some creative thing that Gabby would have put together for us. But we don't have that at your house. But what you do have, I'm sure, is some piece of paper. You could turn over a piece of paper you've already used, and you could write false or other words that mean false on there. My favorite on mine were rubbish and bogus. I thought that was pretty funny. Or true, yep, or legit. You know, whatever you got. And then what we're going to do is you're going to hold up when I say these questions. There's a right answer. So these are questions about the story we just watched. And then you guys can talk about it. So this is cool. You can test your mom and dad and see if they know this story. That'll be fun. See what they can do. All right. So first true and false statement. All right. The disciples completely understood what Jesus told them when they ate dinner together. What do you guys think? True or false? It's totally false. Jesus did not talk in plain speak. All right? He said some things that really made you think. Do you guys have anybody in your life that's like that? It's just like they say something and then later you're like, oh, I get it. That's how Jesus was, even with the disciples, even with the people that we think got it. They still had some questions. So it's totally cool if you have questions. All right. Did you guys get that one? All right, let's see. You can get the next one. The disciples took Jesus to the garden so that they could pray for him. Is that the reason that they went to the garden? Think back. Wasn't it? Nope. Not even true. Oh, wait, what's another word I can use? That's a sham. That's a sham. False. Jesus took them to the garden so that he could pray. So if you remember in the story, Jesus is the one who suggested the garden. Even though he knew it wasn't going to work out for him, he put us before his own needs. You get what I'm saying? All right, y'all. Number 3, how you doing? You could be at 100%. All right. When they got to the garden to pray, Jesus took one disciple with him a little bit further into the secluded area for some privacy. So you remember the story, Jesus takes how many people? Is it 1? Or is it more? Or is it less? How many people go with Jesus? The question is, did he take 1? True or false? 1 disciple with him. These are a lot of falses. Nope. Jesus took, say it with me if you guys remember, he took Peter, he took James, and he took John. Those are 3 of his favorite people. That's like his crowd, man. He really liked those guys a lot. They were like his best friends, his homies, his closest dudes. He took them with him. That would have been cool to be Jesus' homie. That's a whole other lesson. I'll get there, I promise. All right, number 4. Jesus was sad. That's hurtful. Oof, I don't like saying that out loud. But Jesus was sad. His soul was tired, and he was not looking forward to what was coming. So when you listen to that story, was Jesus sad? Or was he happy? True. Jesus knew it was coming. You got it. That's what I'm going to pick out of this one. You got it. He was sad. He knew. He didn't want to die. He didn't want to do that for you, but he knew that it was what needed to be done for humanity. It needed to be done for you. It needed to be done for me, which, man, I'm so glad he did. Because remember, if you've been Bridge Bibles in the morning, remember all those rules that we would have had to live by? Ugh, yuck. No bacon. Oh, okay. All right. Number 5. His friends kept watch the whole time that Jesus prayed. They were so good. He asked them to keep watch, remember, in that story, but fabricated. Absolutely, they kept falling asleep. Like, come on, you had one job, you guys. Come on. Oh, it kills me. I would have stayed. No, I would have totally fallen asleep. I'm not very good at that. All right, anyway. All right, let's see. Number 6. Jesus asked God, his Father, to take the suffering away from him. But he also trusted God's plan and wanted to do what God wanted. So he had a conversation with God, if you remember, when he's praying. Jesus is talking to God. Did he ask him to take the suffering away? It's correct. He totally did. He didn't want to suffer. Nobody wants to suffer. He asked, and then he said, you know what, though? I get it, God. I trust you. You got this. You got me. And that's how we should act as well. All right? Number 7. After Jesus woke up, his friends asked him, After Jesus woke up, his friends, he asked them again to keep watch over him while he prayed. And they managed to stay awake this time and be really good friends to him. Okay, so the first time they fall asleep, we know that, we've already verified that. That second time, true or false, they were like the best friends ever. They figured it out, they stayed awake for him. Is that right? True or false? Invalid. Absolutely not. They still fell asleep again. After all that he's done for them, after everything he's taken care of for them, they still didn't put his needs first. Something that we should work on. All right, number 8. Judas led the angry mob to Jesus. So Judas, Jesus' friend, one of the 12 disciples, is he the one who turned Jesus over? You got it. Ugh, imagine being that guy. Yeah, he felt bad later. We'll talk about that, I'm sure. But in this story, he's the one who brought them to Jesus. All right, number 9. We're almost there. Peter helped Jesus and saved him when he used his sword to cut off the priest's ear. So that's a cool part of the story if you like blood and guts, right? Peter cuts off the priest's ear. Was that in order to help Jesus, you think? Wrong. Jesus told him to stop and healed his enemy's ear. Like, whoa, that's deep. I don't know, I might have let the guy live without it here, but I'm not Jesus. All right, last one, y'all. Jesus' friends stayed with him, and they supported him as he was arrested and taken away. They were like, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Yeah, you guys, I kind of gave that one away. That's erroneous. In fact, they ran. They were afraid. They were scared. They denied knowing him. They did not support him and put his needs first. Not exactly what we want. All right, so the last part of this is, do you guys know the statement, hindsight is 20/20? I use this statement all the time because you guys know I'm an investigator, so I deal with people who get themselves into trouble all the time, and they're always like, if only, if only, if only. And I'm like, yeah, well, looking back, we can always see what we should have done. It's much harder to see what we should do next, right? But this is a great lesson. If we put other people first, if we don't let our pride stand in the way, those decisions, those are led from Jesus. Those are God decisions. Those aren't the devil's decisions. So that's always a good way to check yourself. So keep that in mind. Ask your family what they think hindsight is 20/20 means and how that might affect you moving forward, all right? All right, we're moving on from this section. We've got another activity coming up. I'll see you in just a sec. All right, you guys, did a lot of talking today. I'm sorry for that. I promise next week we'll have more activities. But this week we have candy. Come on now. So we're giving away these Jolly Rancher, these bags. Like this whole bag could be yours. I have multiple bags. And the good news is they're only red Jolly Ranchers, so they're only the good ones. Yeah, you know it. You want it. So let's hear your good answers. So you could have already won prizes. Now you can win candy. I think it's worth it. Let's hear from you. All right, so here's the discussion questions. I want you to have legit conversations with someone else at home and then tell me both sides of how you had this conversation, all right? So question number 1, how have you put someone else first recently? So I'll give you some of my examples, but those can't be your examples to get candy, okay? But how do you put someone else first recently? So it's hard, right? When you're at home with everybody, you're getting on each other's nerves. But how about just putting someone else first in your household? Like today, I did Mason's laundry, and he stinks. So that was putting him first. Before myself, I let that happen. So some way that you've done that. You guys, I've seen some other things happening around the country where people are sidewalk chalking at police departments or at hospitals or really putting other people's feelings first. That's awesome. If you've done something like that, I totally want to hear it. Candy's coming your way. All right, number 2, why are certain people easier to put first than others? I'm not asking you to name names, but tell me who's easier, who's harder. Okay, so without naming names, so much easier for me to put people first that I love, right? So my son, my husband, right, whatever. It's so much harder to put people first who I'm like, I don't really like them. Like, I can't say names. No, you guys, so come on. It's the people like, or like maybe it is your sister because she's just getting on your nerves and touching all your stuff. Or it's, the neighbor who gets to do things that you don't get to do. Those people are much harder, right? So let me hear it, and I want to know why. Why do you think it's easier to put some people first than others? All right? Number 3, there's 4. So this one says, our world is often all about me, right? That is society's, like, you got to do whatever it takes to get you first. So how can you live an upside down way of doing that? So how can you live not about putting me first? All right, so I want practical examples. So I can do this and live upside down in this world, all right? Best ones, candy's coming your way. And finally, how can you put others first this week? All right? So specific examples. So again, I'm just going to recap. Something you've already done, I want to hear about it, to put other people first. Why it's easier to do that for some people than others. How you can live upside down and not be selfish. And 4, what you can do going forward to demonstrate this. 4 things, top answers. I think we have a bunch of bags of candy. So we'll say the top 10 answers. Candy will be waiting, all right? All right, that's it for this week. Study your memory verse, Philippians 2:3, and your life application is putting others first by giving up what you think you deserve. So there's your big hint on how these things are going to be scored, all right? See you next week.